Welcome to Long Island Talks with me, Mace in your face, and Dr. Jean. Let's get lit together. Tonight's special guest that we're featuring is an empty chair because David Tillery is stuck in traffic.
Hi, Chair.
He will be joining us. You can count on that. Hey, Jean.
Hey. Well, he's coming. He's stuck in traffic, stuck in Mother's Day traffic. And I want to wish everybody who's a mom happy Mother's Day. If you're a daughter, make sure you don't forget mom. For those of us like myself who don't have a mom anymore, she's up there looking down. Don't do anything you wouldn't do with mom around. And anytime you mess up when you're trying to do something, make sure you go back and do it just the way mom taught you to do it. I found this out through personal experience.
And what was that personal experience?
Well, it was nothing I can't say on GP or even G. My mother always told me not to wear skirts because I'll hurt my knees if I fall. And I'd say, well, come on, I'm not going to fall. Even ice skating.
Was it falling?
Yeah.
Or being on your knees that she was worried about?
Being on my knees.
Okay.
Anyway, I was wearing pants and I tripped over something, going to the store my usual clumsy way, graceful way, I should say, and I plopped down on my knee. And I thought, all right, I have pants on. It's not going to hurt that much, but there's got to be a scratch or something. Not a touch of anything. And the last time I remember doing that, I had stockings and a skirt. My knee was bleeding so bad that a week later people were asking me what happened to my knee.
Wow.
So what do you think of that?
I think that's pretty interesting, but I would also like to wish everyone a happy Mother's Day, spelt both with the letter O and the letter U. And a happy Mother's Day to all those dads out there that are raising the children and covering both parenting aspects. And I also want to temper what you said before.
Okay.
Remembering that your mom is up there watching down and wonder, is it something she would do? I can prove it's something she would do. You were born, so go for it.
That's funny.
So, Jean, talking about being born.
Yeah.
Are you a lesbian? I always wondered.
What do you think? Yes.
Well, I would think...
I'm a thespian. I'm on the air.
I would think you were, because when we were at the goth club, Junkies, and
yes.
I got the two lesbians to molest you in the bathroom. You really seemed to enjoy it. I remember you used to live with a woman.
I used to live with a female roommate, and as far as enjoying any molestation, I've got to say that, first of all, you were in the ladies' room until the bouncer came and kicked you out, because...
So there's more that happened to you after I left?
Room, there were two guys. Actually, you pushed them on me, and I was trying to push them away, but I wasn't strong enough for the three of you.
Yeah, but they got your shirt off you.
They did?
Yes, they did. They didn't get your bra off.
I remember.
Because the bouncer came in as they were trying to get the bra off you.
Well, why should I let
You didn't seem to struggle, though.
I didn't seem to struggle. Maybe I knew I didn't have a chance.
So, you're avoiding...
You were on top of the two lesbians.
You're avoiding answering the question.
No, I'm not a lesbian. I'm straight.
Bisexual?
No, I'm straight.
Yeah?
Straight as an arrow.
Okay.
Yes, I am straight.
Okay. So you and your female roommate, you didn't sleep in like one twin bed?
No, but before we got on the air, I did tell the story about how when I was with a female friend down in a cheap hotel in Florida, she claimed that there were bedbugs in her bed. And I never saw those bedbugs, but she got into my bed and I couldn't object.
So you cuddled naked?
No, we did cuddle. We both had our PJs on. We slept pretty much back to back after talking a little bit.
Okay.
But I never checked out if those bed bugs were really there or she
well,
just wanted to sleep
if it's in
bed.
one room, if one bed has bed bugs, the other bed would have bed bugs too.
See, I didn't know
She
that.
wanted you, Jean.
You think?
She was hoping.
You
Maybe
think?
she had her back to you, hoping you were pre-op tranny.
Now we're getting back to our off-air chemistry.
Yes, indeed.
But you said we're not FCC?
No FCC regulation here.
Okay.
But
so
that little skit we could have done on regular radio. We've done worse than that when we were on real radio.
Well, you see, on radio, people can't really see anything. They just have to imagine it. And sometimes imagination is much better than what you can actually show on live TV.
Oh, very true. Very true. And we were able to make people... It was funny how many people would believe when I announced that we were naked in the studio thought we really were. I remember
Weren't
one
you?
guest.
When the dominatrix came, come on, when Spike came and she handcuffed you.
Well,
and
she was
gonna
half naked,
shave
but
a
I
little
wasn't.
bit and you were afraid of
I
it?
was not half naked. My clothes did stay on.
She was half naked?
Yeah, don't you remember the preacher doing a show after us came
I
in,
was just
and she was
thinking of
topless,
that.
and he
Yes.
freaked?
Yes, yeah, I can't imagine he really freaked. But, you know, he didn't expect that when he had all his parishioners lined up behind him.
Yeah, but when we had a woman on the show that we were interviewing, and I said that we were all naked in the studio, her husband, who was in the green room,
Looked in.
did run faster than fast down to the studio to look in the window and make sure that we were not naked.
See, that's how you get a studio audience out there, right?
Yes, indeed.
In the old days, before they had television, you know, they had studio audiences.
Yeah.
There were a group of men that would talk about what they would do with one of the female hosts. She couldn't sue for sexual harassment. They didn't have laws like that in those days. And sure enough, the studio audience got bigger and bigger and bigger. And then just to make it get even bigger, they put up a curtain. So then they really had to know that something was going on behind there. And they would offer certain people a peek, and they couldn't say what they saw. I mean, you could build a whole show on that.
Oh, Soupy Sales. You know about that? When he'd open
Oh,
that
yeah.
door?
Yes.
You know, and it'd be like, they never showed what was on the other side of the door, but you know what was on the
Right.
other side, right?
Oh yeah, oh
What?
yeah. Well, you know, the kids imagined
It was
there
a
were some
naked
goodies.
woman.
Well, the kids,
In real
though,
life, there was really a naked
the
woman.
adults knew that. The kids thought there
No,
was candy
no one
or
knew
a
it at that
present or-
time. That
Well,
was found out later on.
when he did a lot of what my mother used to say, they got him off the air because he did double entendre. And I didn't quite know what that was, but he would say jokes that kids of the time really shouldn't understand if they were normal 9 and 10-year-olds, let's say. He would say things like, you kiss him between the strikes, I kiss him between the balls. Now, a regular child of that time wouldn't understand that.
No,
He'd
they'd
think
have
you
no
were talking
clue.
about baseball. Today's kids might understand it, but things were different then.
Yeah,
Much
but
more innocent.
You ever see Shrek, the movie?
I didn't, no.
You should, on this
Okay.
topic, because you listen to the dialogue. The kids are going to be entertained with the, you know, the cartoon animation. That
That's
is
right.
very adult conversation in that movie.
But
Many of the
kids are
animated
still
cartoons
entertained.
for the children, the dialogue is pretty dirty for the adults.
I feel like that's a lot for other shows as well. Like, and there's a lot of sexual innuendos in SpongeBob.
Do you have any, did your earpiece work
In
then?
SpongeBob, he's saying that there's a lot of sexual innuendos in many shows today, such as SpongeBob. I know the big thing is that he goes to the bathroom in inappropriate places, like
Oh,
makes
that-
the bathroom out of the corner of the wall.
Yeah, there's some of that, but I mean, like, there's a lot of other things that when I watched when I was a kid went right over my head.
SpongeBob?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not that aware of what they are because I haven't watched SpongeBob. I'm a little older than Danny.
I never
Just,
watched
just by a little
SpongeBob.
bit.
Dan?
Yeah.
By the way, folks, this is our producer Dan who's chiming in with us.
How you doing, guys?
You have watched SpongeBob, yes?
Oh yeah, when I was a kid, that was my show.
That was your favorite show?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, are you gay?
Come on, my whole generation grew up on
You know,
it.
but they say everyone, you know, everyone says SpongeBob is gay, and
No,
I never knew
well,
why.
Well, actually,
because I never
the
watched
common
it.
thinking
SquarePants.
is I believe it was Patrick. I believe they think Patrick's gay because numerous times in the SpongeBob movie, he like was celebrating SpongeBob's like promotion, which he thought he was gonna get, and he had like the I Heart SpongeBob thing between his butt cheeks. So there's
I heard.
So there's a lot of that in children's and Ed and Eddie. There's so many hidden sexual innuendos that go right over the parents' head, kid's head, and the parents are the
It
only
goes
ones.
over the parents maybe too, but
Sometimes,
not
yeah,
for too
exactly.
long.
Sometimes, yeah, until they catch on, yeah, and realize what's going on.
One of my patients'
And
mother
you
said
if
she
you-
doesn't like the kids to watch it because he talks about taking a leak in the corner of the
Oh,
room.
yeah, yeah.
That was the big bad thing. I'm sorry, you were talking. I'm sorry. I
No,
interrupted.
that's fine. I was just going to say, but if you think about it, if you were to grab SquarePants SpongeBob SquarePants, and squeeze, if it's truly a sponge, it's going to drip out.
Astute observation.
It's not an observation. It's mental deduction.
Well, that means you're finished.
Well,
It's
you're
not
talking about a show
hot-
that has
hot
fire
anymore.
underwater, so I mean, the logic goes out the window in that show. And
The
there's
window?
yeah, there's a squirrel that's living underneath there, so I mean, there's no logic in that show whatsoever.
Well, I never watched it, so I have no clue.
Well, I'm just giving you the
But I also
information.
read an article that everyone who used to watch it grows up to become gay.
That's a bold statement to make. What magazine are you reading?
I don't know anyone who didn't
I don't know.
watch
I
it.
just made it up.
I'm not surprised.
See, you sounded serious for a change. That's why sometimes when you're genuinely joking and you say it with a straight face, since you often don't talk straight, people then think
Hey, I
that
am
there's an
straight.
article. You're straight?
Yeah, I'm
You
straight.
mean you're not bi or gay? We never talk about your sexuality.
Actually, I gotta
only
tell you.
everybody else's. What about yours?
I got to tell you something. There was a few things in life that I was so disillusioned about because I grew up very sheltered. I always thought bisexual was when you paid for it with a hooker. I always thought a pedophile was something you used to smooth out your toenails. It has been a wide awakening for me over the past few months.
Wide awakening.
A wide awakening.
Is that the female part of you? Wide awakening? You know, everybody's both genders or has the capacity to be both genders according to some people today. I don't know if you agree with that, but
Well,
that's...
I selectively agree. If the men's room is full and my piss is going to start coming out of my eyes, I will at that moment be female if there's an empty stall in the women's room.
I'd rather you use the corner of the men's room because normally it's the women that are where the line is out the door. So we have to be able to go into the men's room.
That's true.
I see that all the times at airports.
Yes.
All the time at airports. They don't enforce it because, like, you know, they know that women's lines are insane.
City Field. City Field. More women in the men's room than the men.
And the men don't complain.
I mean, I'm not. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're going to be the ones to complain. Say we don't want. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
you have to
personally-
get the bouncer in,
personally-
just like the women did when
Personally,
we were at the
I don't like
club.
the idea of men in women's rooms, women in men's room, this whole,
Oh, so you're a co-ed guy.
But what you got to also understand is, I don't like the idea of anyone else being in the bathroom when I'm in the bathroom. I believe in gender-neutral, single-use bathroom stalls. And I've been places when traveling where you walk into the bathroom area, the outside, the washing area, the sinks, is a big semicircle, open area, that goes around like this with sinks, and then around that way are stalls. And the stalls, the walls of each stall is floor to ceiling. The door is floor to ceiling. And there's no specified gender. There's an empty one. You go in and use it. No one can stand on a toilet in the stall next to yours and look over because it's all floor to ceiling. And it is just I feel safe and private.
That's the way to
And
do it.
my kidneys don't get shy. And I'm happy.
Well, that's the way to do it in the classier places. Although I heard there was one that was a waterfall. There was a waterfall in the men's room. And somebody walked in and legitimately thought it was a urinal.
Was it decorative?
Yes. And he went in that urinal, and the older man next to him said very solemnly, "Around here we call that behavior uncivilized." Needless to say, that was the person who was interviewing him for the job, and he didn't get it.
Oh, big shock. Big shock.
Maybe that was the reason.
That brings back a memory. It was, 84, 85, somewhere around there. I'm working in advertising, and I got to go to an account of ours, which was a distributor, and meet with him and a big supplier of his. Well, I'm on the road driving. There was this real a-hole on the road next to me. Pissed me off. And I gave it to him good, with the window down, asked him to pull over so I could beat him to a pulp.
Oh.
Guess who my account's supplier was at that meeting?
Did he pull over on the side?
No, he didn't. He
Well, too
sped
bad he
up.
didn't. Then he wouldn't have shown up at the meeting, and he wouldn't have known it was you.
Very true.
Well, you might not have shown up at the meeting, and he still wouldn't have known it was you.
Well, basically, I don't remember much more than that, but I remember something like, when we were introduced and we looked at each other, I said, "You just better be glad that I have a major ego on my work, that you'll still get the best work without any, what's it called? You're the shrink. Help me out.
Without
any
sabotage
With,
or
yeah,
anything?
without any,
yeah.
subconscious, not doing the best I can just because he drive like an ass.
And you weren't fired.
No, I didn't lose the account, and I did that work for that manufacturer too.
I guess he was afraid he'd run into you on the road again.
And this is our late guest.
I just would like to notice Mace has got a clear and invisible water bottle. Look at that.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm not hearing you well, but the earpiece is in my deaf ear.
Our,
Oh, that was a smart move.
our guest is on the line now.
No, not yet.
He's not on the phone yet?
No, he just asked me to call his number, and I'm like,
Okay.
can't on air. What's up?
Tell him to give me a call. You gave him my number, right?
Yeah,
I'll set it to you guys both, and then I'll run down and get him.
call the number I
All right, I'll be back in
Texted
a little bit, guys. Here you go.
you. There we go. Did he tell you he's here?
No, you give me a call.
Okay.
I'll just run down.
Okay.
He's
so
here.
we'll be
He's here.
engineer free. All right.
He's here.
We better hope.
Keep doing your thing.
Okay.
We better hope
let's-
we can run our own show now.
Ooh, he said, let's do our own thing.
What do we
Just
get
kidding.
up on the table and do our
Want to dance?
No nudity when I get back.
No, we'll be dressed by then.
Uh-oh, you might fall asleep now.
Yeah.
You figure nobody's watching, but actually there's a lot
And
of
I got to
people
tell
watching
you,
now.
after hearing Dan talk about SpongeBob, that he used to watch it was his favorite show, I'll bet he said, don't be naked when I get back, because then he'd be too distracted to run the cameras. What do you think?
I think so too. I don't know, should we try it and see if he's too distracted to run the cameras?
Well, if we both get naked, let's see which one he stares at.
I will bet the same bet that you'll bet. He's hetero, right? He talks about his girlfriend, so we know.
Why do you have to defend him? We know this, that he's not gay. Our listeners and viewers don't know
He
it.
could look at you anyway. I mean, he could be bi. He could still. There was one question on a major personality test, the MMPI, that says, I am occasionally attracted to people of the same sex. And guess what?
What?
That question loads, meaning it tells if you're lying or not. Because people that want to come up perfect often answer no. And everybody is occasionally attracted to people of the same sex, gender, bigender, whatever. Everybody.
I love those, in concept, before I encourage anyone, those little movies that, I got some real idiot friends that send you these like little
Look at
movies.
the company they keep.
And most of the time it'll be like, porno and nudity, it's little clips. And from the back, long hair and everything, it is like the hottest woman you could believe. And then it, dancing, and then it turns around and it's a guy.
A cross-dresser.
And no, it's a guy.
A real guy.
Yeah.
In the front, he's fully guy. And in the back, he's fully...
No, he's like naked in the bathroom.
Oh,
But like fully shaved or something, or just, has the underwear on, whatever.
that's dangerous.
Yeah, and
Somebody
then
might
turns around.
target him in the bathroom.
Yeah.
I've heard that a mass murderer seriously did that. He was targeting women, and he saw a guy with long hair, and he was a coward, so he'd come up behind them even though they were female. He shot the wrong guy, literally,
Well,
because his hair was too long.
remember Johnny Carson?
Yeah, of course.
I just had a-
We're old folks.
I
We
just had a
remember.
flashback where he was talking about driving down Hollywood Boulevard or whatever in his convertible, and there was this hot chick walking with a wiggle, gorgeous long blonde hair, and then as he got next to her, he like slows down and it's like, "Hey baby, want to ride?" And a guy with a beard and mustache turned around.
I guess now you wouldn't do it because you wouldn't make any assumptions that it was baby.
Well, also now, guys with long hair is more common than it was in the late 70s.
True, that's true. Good point. Although my friend's husband in the late 70s, we were brunettes. He was a blonde. And we were walking down the street it actually was in Roslyn. And three guys in a car said, "How do you get to Roslyn?" So our guy with us turned around and said, "You're in Roslyn." So the guy in the car said, "Okay, then how do you get to Hempstead?" And we started walking quickly. But the guys just drove away like, oh, they really thought they were going to pick up three chicks. And a guy was in the middle. So they somehow assumed that because his hair was long and blonde that he was a she. That's a big assumption.
Or maybe they didn't care.
Maybe they didn't, but these acted obnoxious enough to be very high. alpha testosterone he-males that wanted to pick up she-chicks. That's the sense I got.
She-chicks?
She-chicks.
She-chicks.
Very high estrogen women, as opposed to she-males.
She-chicks, seashells at the seashore.
I can't say that. I won't even try on the air. I won't even try. I'll go home and practice it this week and come back and say it next time.
Okay,
But don't put me to the test.
I shall,
I
before
know.
the show
I know you
is
did
over.
that. Last time you did that. Well, I haven't practiced it yet. That's not fair.
Okay, we'll practice.
She sells seashells
No,
at
no.
the seashore.
She-chicks.
She chicks,
Seashells.
seashells,
Seashells
seashells
at the seashore.
at the seashore.
She-chicks, seashells at the seashore.
She chicks seashells
Shells.
at the seashore. I give up. I think our guest is here.
Your guest is here. I'm gonna have
Okay.
I'm gonna sit him down.
No, bring him through.
Sit him
Sit him down.
Hi,
Jeans,
guest.
And here he comes.
Hello, hello, hello.
You're not mic'd up, so I don't know if anyone heard you.
Oh, no, not yet, man. I come with the left.
Let
and the
me-
right. How are you doing?
I'm
Let me-
doing fine.
Let me
I'm
translate.
fine.
He walked in saying, hello, 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 hello.
Look at where I am. I'm on the Mace Greenfield show.
I'll
How do
move
you like
over a
me
little
now,
bit to make you
world?
comfortable.
And now we have a studio audience.
Yes, indeed.
Caught
yes,
in
indeed.
Mother's Day traffic.
Oh,
All
and
these
happy-
people
happy
taking
Mother's Day
Mama.
to you. And Mace, happy Mother Father's Day.
And happy
Okay.
Mother with a U day to you, David.
Thank you very much, brother. Thank you very much. Here we go. Hello, hello.
And
Your mic's actually muted. It just
and I just want everyone to see
As soon as I get
one
in there.
thing. This man
Okay.
works with bricks. He's a mason.
That's right. Stack them, stack them, stack them, stack them, stack them. Straight to the top. Non-stop.
Stick this in here
That's
so you can
where you're
do that,
going.
And, you'll be all set with that.
That's-
And I'm gonna head back into the booth.
Okay.
Is this a little different than normal of what you're told to stick in your ear?
No, Mace, I mean, you should be used to this here because you got a couple of things in your ears, right? Don't you?
Yeah, but that's wax jokes. You
One of
see.
them, one of them is missing. I'm used to two of them in Mace's ears.
Folks, this is David Tillery. He is, and you would never know it unless I told you, he is black. And what you can tell just by looking at him is he's an active Republican.
Wow, black and Republican?
Yes, I am black and Republic. I'm a Republic black. That's what I am.
Are you on
Republic.
Fox News? Only
Almost.
kidding. Okay.
Almost. We're gonna get there probably after tonight.
But are you like a very rare breed to be a black Republican?
I can honestly say no. You know, because there's plenty of people in my club. In fact, the town that I'm from, Hempstead, Long Island, we have several black Republicans and
Several or many?
several.
Well, several is on one hand.
But what they vote for, what they vote for, that's a whole different.
You mean in
thing.
politics? You
Yeah,
have
in
several.
politics. In
Yeah,
politics.
yeah.
I mean, my club consists of 100 black Republicans, and this is in Hempstead.
That's more than several.
That's more than several.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
And yes, and we're all black. Hold on a moment, I'm having a problem with this thing here.
Let me see if you have to
Yeah.
put this has to go around your ears. Okay, and this
I'm
goes
getting the
in.
hookup right now. I am
Okay.
getting the hookup.
You got it? You got it?
All right, all
Okay,
right,
you're
all
getting
right.
a hookup.
Can you
now.
hear me when I
Okay.
speak?
You just saw it live on TV, an ear job.
You saw that? It's more like that.
So, David,
Yes.
I have to ask you a question.
Sure, man.
There's a Pennsylvania political operative named Maurice Floyd,
Okay.
who is black,
Okay.
and he says that black voters are moderate and most focused on community schools and jobs. Would you, rather than international affairs and climate? How do you see that?
I would say that's honestly true. That's honestly true. Because the issues in the African American communities are better schools, better jobs, cost lower taxes, and we're not that fortunate to get lower taxes.
Well, everybody wants lower taxes, but they
Yes.
just want more services.
I think if we just stop paying our mortgages all at the same time, they're not going to have any choice but to lower our taxes. But these are the several issues that we have in the African American community, even though you already know the dynamic of the African American community when it comes down to voters and voters registrations is Democrat. However, me being a Republican and a proud Republican at that.
You mean you voted for Trump? Is that the bad
you want to know why I voted for Trump? Because I want to make it to the White House to have some of that fast food that he serves, all of the ball players
David?
and stuff like that.
David?
Yes.
I think you've already had enough fast food.
I think so too. I think so too.
But David,
Yes.
Maurice Floyd also said that he's tired of liberal intellectuals who insist on speaking for all black voters. How do you weigh in on that comment?
You see, he's in a class by himself. I mean, in all actuality, in all honesty, I believe he speaks for himself. Because in no way he speaks for the vast majority of African American voters. Sometimes we get caught in between somebody who thinks that they're an advocate for our communities and the way we feel about things as African American voters. And that's just not so. And then once they start introducing their ideas, and flying off the wall with everything you just mentioned, where the onlookers, which us, we're watching this in the media and we're like, what?
That's right.
What did he just say? But however, if we raise our hand behind the television screen, that's not going to be enough for anybody to hear us say, no, wait.
That's why we have live chat on.
Right, absolutely.
A lot of the shows are copying now the smaller local live shows, and they have live chats, so people can complain or compliment them right away, and both have to get through because it's live.
Right, please do. Please leave your compliments and leave some ideas. If you have any, just let us know, because we need some help over here. But however, like I was saying, it's a real serious issue, in our communities of color, and what we need to do is really come together like most races and start putting something together, become more economically inclined, start taking care of our own. We don't have to necessarily, look for handouts, but then there is a such thing as reparations, and that's a whole nother story. That's a whole nother story. I'm gonna come back to your show and we're gonna talk about how I feel about that.
Well, that's what affirmative action is all about, that people who have historically been victims of discrimination, whether it's blacks, women, any of the people that belong to those classes, get special privileges temporarily from the agency or from the government that has practiced the past discrimination.
Right, well, they already came up with that, and that's called welfare.
But welfare, didn't that, rather than help, actually more apt to lock someone into I believe
a
mode, and then the government politicians get to kind of have control over them because they get hooked on the welfare, and by handing them the handout, they get the votes in exchange. Didn't it really hurt the black community more than help?
Welfare just made the African American community, I would say, complacent. There are people who need it. Okay.
Temporarily, yeah.
Right.
That's how it should be.
Temporarily.
Temporarily.
And that's not everybody. But then, I'm a hard worker. I'm a government worker. And anytime, every time I get my check and anytime I go to the supermarket to do some shopping, here is somebody who's receiving food stamps and welfare off of my tax dollar, and their cart is stuffed to the top. Pop-Tarts, Ho-Hos, Ring Dings, and
they can still buy that stuff with food stamps?
Sirloin steak, jumbo shrimp, and all I have is a loaf of bread and some peanut butter and maybe some mayonnaise and bologna, and so.
Don't tell me you eat peanut butter and mayonnaise sandwiches.
No. Some jelly, man.
Okay.
You like peanut butter and jelly?
Yeah.
You like
Who
peanut butter and
doesn't?
jelly?
Who
Who doesn't
doesn't?
like peanut butter and jelly?
That's why you serve it to kids so much. It's like pasta, or what used to be called macaroni, spaghetti
My
noodles.
bologna has
Who
a first
doesn't
name.
like that?
It's OSEAR. This earpiece and I are not getting
Is
along
anybody?
today.
Are you being full of baloney now?
No. In fact, I just had some turkey, so you could call me a turkey.
Oh, I can
I'm
call
a
you
big
just
turkey
because
right
you
now.
ate the turkey.
No, but back to your question, Mace. You know,
Do you remember it still?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
You know, not all African Americans are dependent on the welfare system. In fact, there are more who are workers, honest workers, that actually need something. You know, just something to get us to the next meal. You know, because the high taxes, the high rent, you know, everything, you know, the increases on clothes and everything that you need just to take care of your family. Sometimes hardworking mothers and fathers, if they're still together, can't afford to feed their children the way they wish. And I believe that the government should really look into helping those out, helping those people out. You know, not the ones who year after year after year after year, it's the same old thing. Can't find a job, but then you had another 15 children. You know, I can't.
They have a job having children.
Yeah, I guess so, right?
That's a job.
Yeah.
Having them and raising them and giving them quality care.
But another aspect, a slice of whatever, for that is there are so many places in this country outside of the 5 major urban areas where on $30,000 a year, you can actually live better than you can on $60,000 or $80,000 a year here because of going to what you have harped on a few times, taxes.
Right,
The high cost
right.
of living, the high property values, the high property taxes, high sales taxes, the
Right.
state income tax, one of the highest state income taxes in the country, right here in New
Oh
York.
my God.
Governor Cuomo, if you're watching, so, you know, it takes away, you know, so much of your hard-earned dollars. You don't have it left to spend. When you got other places in the country where you can rent or buy a place so much cheaper, your property tax is like $1,200, $1,500 a year instead of $12,000,
More than your
$15,000 a year.
wait a
Property
minute, but
taxes-
you can't get around. That's the thing. The thing is here, there's public transportation. New York, when you're near a major city, when you're near a wealthy county, there's always ways of manipulating services. Sometimes, if you're a family stuck out in a rural area, nothing comes to you and you can't get to anything.
But you can afford a car there.
A used up
A
car.
used car.
Yeah.
As long as it has 4 wheels, takes gas, and doesn't need any maintenance. I mean,
can afford a truck,
You
you
know, it
can-
could be a '76 Pinto.
A
Yeah.
home on
Come
wheels.
on, it's still a vehicle.
A trailer. That's
Now, here's another thing I want to ask you about. We've been seeing in the news lately where there was a black man, I forget exactly where, who was wearing a Trump hat. And a couple of other,
whooped.
yeah, a couple of other blacks
Probably did.
jumped him,
Yeah.
beat the hell out of him,
Yeah.
telling him, you're black, you can't wear that, you got to be a Democrat because you're black. What's your take on that as a black man?
Thank you, Kanye West. Make America grapes again. So, but, you know, people, you know, we have to realize that everybody's entitled to their opinion and to whatever they want to expose about themselves, whether they like Trump or whether they like Obama or whether it was Bush or anybody else. You know,
I like Bush. Oh, you meant president. I'm so sorry.
No, the other Bush. You know what Bush I'm talking about. I'm talking about hookah.
What are you talking about? The marijuana bush that's now legal in most states? Or are you talking about the president, the ex-president?
What you got in your pocket? And make America great again. Okay, yes. You know, where there's good, there's bad, and where there's bad, there's good. You know, we do need to make America great again, but perhaps not in the way that, you know, people think that Trump is speaking on and on. They think that Trump is a racist, all right? I don't know. You know, I see his following. You know, I see the people that really think that they could be over the top and expose their hatred for another race, creed, and color since he's been in office. However, that's pretty much been with every president. But now it's just over the top with Trump. You know, it's more prevalent. There are people out there that are really hardcore, and it's like, oh man, yeah, you know, we have the right to be buttholes. No, you don't. If somebody wants to wear "Make America Great Again" hat, I mean, I'm New York Giants. You know, just to let you guys know. You know, NYJ over here.
You must root for the Jets.
I am Jets, Jets. And better. Whatever people want to do, let them do it. You know, this is what America is all about: the freedom of expression. You know, you just being yourself. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that. Because you disagree with somebody doesn't mean you go kick their butthole in. You know, you just can't kick ass over somebody, and you don't even know the person.
Nothing that anybody is saying or wearing justifies attacking them physically.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's assault. The other is free speech.
And that's why people like...
as well. Ideology as well.
Yeah, ideology. Yes.
Ideology as well.
Praying to idols?
I said ideology. Come on.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Everything.
No, I do not. Just be glad I can't reach you to twist anything.
Yeah. Well, that's why this big man sits in the middle.
Right? Come on, we got this.
This is
like
my
the-
body.
Those 19-inch pythons, Mean Gene. You feel that right there? Hulkamania running wild right now.
But I got to ask you, is that type of stuff more prevalent now, or is the media just focusing on it more now?
The media.
Because I'm going to tell you, I remember in the 60s, growing up, walking to Temple, and van comes driving by, yelling epitaphs at us, saying, we're coming back with rifles to shoot you all while you're walking home. We're going to blow up your synagogue. You know, I remember, you know, just so much. I remember.
And that was on American soil.
You know, I remember when I lived down south, the Tennessee-Virginia border area, great, like, segregation between blacks and whites, you know, and I'll never forget, my second ex-wife was from, you know, Bristol, Tennessee, Virginia area. So she wanted me to go down, see where she grew up, meet her family. We did. We're at this place called the Corner Doghouse. It's supposed to be the world's greatest hot dogs. Then it's explained to me, no, it's the toppings. I don't eat the toppings, okay, except Coney Island dog style, mustard grill, and sauerkraut. I don't do the, you know, the chili and onions. It was the worst quality hot dog I ever ate in my life. But nevertheless, I was down there, and, you know, we're on the line, and all of a sudden I said to her, listen, I'm really feeling sick to my stomach. I'm going to go wait in the car. She got back in the car, and she said, you feeling better? You okay? I said, no, I'm fine. I thought you said, yeah, no. I said, that guy behind me that I was talking to, I think it was gay, that twinkle in his eye. I got very uncomfortable the way he was looking at me. She burst into, I like it. Oh, shit, we're on camera. Stop it.
Well, now
Stop it.
Now you've answered the question. Now we
So,
know your
so,
guy.
Dave.
Okay. We were talking about this before you came.
So-
Watch the beginning of the tape.
Oh, somebody about to
Dave,
when
Somebody
it's
about to get
on
hurt up in there.
So she started laughing, and I'm like, what's so funny? She said, he's not gay. I said, how do you know? Because he's black. He's not used to anyone in this town being white, talking to him, having no clue he's black.
Oh.
You know, and that was still going on down there.
You're a
And I remember in high
It's
school,
hot in here.
in high
Take
school,
off all your clothes.
in high school, they were going to do the KKK, the big march in Skokie, Illinois. Everyone, you know, my school was mostly Jewish, and all these petitions asking the media not to cover it. And I said, no, I want to cover it. They're like, why are you Jewish? I said, because when it's not covered, people don't know what's going on.
Right.
And you're not ready for it, you can't protect yourselves. You got to know what's happening. And when we only know what the media covers. So is all of that stuff really getting worse? Or is the media just covering it? And I'll tell you, when growing up, remembering the news in the 60s, it was worse back then than it is today.
It was. I remember my parents always had it on at every dinner, watching the, what was it, Walter Cronkite talking about the casualties in Vietnam. And seeing the actual blood and everything. That
Compared to what they
nowadays-
tell you.
Yes.
In comparison.
Compared to
What
what they tell
the
you.
media has a lot to do with what's going on right now in the world. I mean, the world has been, and people, children, people of all races, colors, and creed have been corrupted by the media.
I mean, it's no surprise that the saying "information is power," and if you control that, you control the power.
You control the power, and everybody's stuck, not just in the televisions, but this device right here, the cell phone. I mean, people spend more time with their heads down.
That's our brains
all day. Then even look like you don't see what's flying.
Even when they're driving.
Yeah, even when they're driving. Yeah. I have a witness. I'm a witness to somebody here.
Sometimes even when they're having sex.
Yeah.
No, actually, sometimes while having sex, they're talking to their spouse.
Well, yeah, when they're having back shots,
They're talking
they can't see you.
They're talking to their spouse while
they're
they're
ain't nothing but a hound doggy, violent all the time.
while they're at the hotel having sex. They're talking to their spouse back home.
Good trick.
Speaking of drunk,
I've been there before. I love you.
speaking of drunk driving, if
I
anyone
love you
gets
too.
into one, there's a number on the screen you can call. If you get into a drunk driving accident, anything like that, it's on the screen.
Oh, I see the number on the screen.
Oh yeah, my dad's an attorney.
Oh, wait.
Okay, well, the
1-800, help my ass.
Well, the screen.
Wow, 188, help my ass.
Well, the monitor we're looking at says no signal.
Oh yeah. Oh, well,
Check the external input.
that's the TV that's in front of you. If you want to watch yourself, I can put it up there for you, Mace. You want me to do that?
Well, yeah, I need to check my hair.
Step into the light,
You got
Caroline.
it.
Step into the light. Step into the light, Caroline. Step into the light.
Yeah, come on, man. We got to poltergeist this screen. I don't see anything going on.
You don't have to. It is on. You know,
Or is that screen what's actually streaming on YouTube right now?
Oh, there we go.
He doesn't want us to look at ourselves because we're all so vain or here.
Oh, because we're all so good looking over here. Well,
That's
heavens
right.
to Murgatroyd. We're good looking even. Oh, we.
You got a good voice.
Oh, my
No,
goodness.
don't get too distracted when you're looking at your beautiful hair, everyone. All right?
Oh, no, don't worry about it. I have mine covered up. You know, I just got the little
But I
crispy
can't
haircut,
see your
too. You
jacket's
see the
in the
points
way.
going down on the side over here? How you think I look? You think this
I-
haircut looks good
I
on me?
think it looks good.
You know what?
You like this haircut on me?
I'm glad to find out that's intentional. I thought you just were, like hungover when you shaved and missed the spot.
No, I was just, just trying to divvy it up,
See, I
bring
can't
on
do that.
this new look. Oh, you could do it.
The only thing I could cover is my ears and my face.
No, you can do little hair stripes like that in other places on your body.
I could. I guess I could. Yeah.
How about start with the armpits?
I'll make them orange.
Now that's freaky. That is freaky. You're gonna make them orange. Gonna get some jelly and
Right?
get some jelly. Get some jelly.
You better not say that. You'll start a fad, and then people will be doing that.
As a matter of fact, that's a great idea for today's millennials, okay? Instead of swallowing Tide Pods and instead of snorting condoms, you should wipe jelly in your armpit and let someone else lick it out.
Here, let's one
It
try.
doesn't seem erotic.
Is there any
enough
jelly
for us
back
millennials
there?
To try.
Anybody got any jelly? The jelly?
You mean peanut butter and
We're
jelly.
frozen on the
You
monitor
said you like
screen.
peanut butter and jelly.
No.
Mace will have it for you next time, right?
We're gonna have that. Come up here with a loaf of bread. We all gonna get busy with some peanut butter and jelly, right?
Well, if there's going to be peanut butter, don't we need puppies too? Ooh, I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
Oh Lord! Oh Lord! We're gonna get back to where we
Yeah.
left
Have
off
you
at.
personally had any grief from people that, what are you doing being black and a Republican?
No, I haven't because it's about a respect.
It's got to be a first time for everything.
It's-
What the hell are you doing being Republican, being black?
Yeah, what are you doing being Republican and being black?
Da, 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 da. You know what I am being Republican and black? Proud. Because the reason why I'm Republican and black, simply because I see the unity that's within the Republican Party. And I like the way they come together. We come together, we share ideas, and of course we're about our community. We're about our community, and I've seen hands-on more just at least in my community, from the Republicans that are there. more hands-on with the children, with creating things, you know, in the parks. You know, I haven't really seen the Democrats hands-on. I mean, they're there to pump things up when things are wrong, but when things are going right, you really don't hear too much, you know, from them. You don't hear too much from the Democrats. And I used to be a Democrat. All right, let me just put that out there. I used to be a Democrat.
You mean you switched?
Huh?
You crossed over?
I stepped into the light. I stepped into the light. No, but I had to because I like the unity that I saw. You know, that right there was important to me. You know, there was an agenda, and there was an agenda to help the community. I can't say that this happens everywhere, okay? I'm only speaking from my experience. My experience is what I'm laying on this green table right now. But other than that, I mean, I'm quite sure that there are cities, states,
like Sparta and Athens?
Yeah. Stuff like that. You know, from the Carolinas to probably the Midwest, all the way to California, where people, as well as they have a bad Democrat experience, they will have a bad Republican experience. But at the end of the day, what people have to realize is that it's about us coming together. And the media has us separated. The media has everybody wanting to fight each other where, well, thank you, Trump, you know, by everything you put out there on Democrats, because I think that even our own president should, you know, say, hey, let me see, instead of calling these guys bad guys all the time, and I'm saying this as a Republican, you know, let me see what we can actually do together. Some things you have to leave the chance, you know, you just can't beat somebody down because or their whole conglomerate because you think that there's something wrong with who they are and what they stand for.
You're talking about bipartisanism or being bi. Is that what you're saying?
That was good. That was a lot. But on that topic, Dave.
I shot right.
Dave, on that topic, you know, when you travel the world, you know, to like Spain, for example.
Well, I've been to Rome.
You-
I've been to Florence and I've
Okay.
been to Rome and Amsterdam. Ooh, did I love Amsterdam?
Yeah, we'll talk about that on another show. But for like Spain, for example, you don't say I'm Black Spanish. You don't
Right.
say I'm Italian Spanish.
Right.
You don't say I'm Jewish Spanish.
Right.
You're just Spanish.
Right.
But in this country, it's always I'm Italian American, I'm Black American, I'm Latin American, I'm Jewish American. Doesn't this divide us? And wouldn't it be more unifying if we just said I'm American without all the qualifiers?
Listen, my family, my father's family is Puerto Rico. My mother's side of the family is from the Barbados. And I was born in the Bronx. They asked me what I am. I identify with being American.
I thought he was going to say, I'm Bronxican.
And it's crazy though, because you remember when we were touching on a subject, can
Touching,
no
touching,
can
Mace with touching.
can black people or Spanish people be racist towards each other?
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
Remember when we spoke about that?
Isn't that what the they were accusing Cardi B of that recently with saying that she was light and that certain people were too dark and
Okay.
you know within
What you know about Cardi B?
Oh, I know.
Oh, now
Cardi
get up on this table. Let me see you twerk.
That, you
I
know,
see you twerk.
I would never want to compete with something that required the rhythm and the dancing.
Yeah, because you break your back.
I would. I
You should
already
walk
have
out
a
like,
big back.
You know, I got to
get
tell
her crutches, get her crutches.
you one thing about Cardi B. It's so great that she can sing and dance like she can. Because when she talks, I have no clue what she's saying.
Yeah, I'll be like, let me tell you something, you know, every time we come around here, we try to find out what's going on, but nobody ever wants to tell us what's going on because nobody understands what's going on. And so once they understand what's going on, and then they want to tell us what's going on, and then we kind of figure that shit out too. I'll be like, what did she just say?
I thought that was Cardi B speaking.
What did she I try to tell you right now, my friend, you know, French and beans and mayonnaise.
Franks and beans with mayonnaise.
And mayonnaise. I don't eat that shit, but they do.
It has to be a southern thing because when I lived down south, they put mayonnaise on everything.
Oh man, I can't stand
You ordered
mayonnaise,
Jello and
man.
it came with mayonnaise. And take it away!
Because it doesn't go bad in the heat, so that's why. it's
Mayonnaise
kind of
goes
like
bad in the heat.
not as much, not as fast as.
No, unless
something
it's sitting in the
that's
bodega.
dairy, Yeah.
If it's sitting in
But
the
why would you
bodega,
put anything on Jello?
little flies around it?
Preserve the Jello? I don't know.
Jello's all chemicals. It don't go bad.
True. It's got sugar in it too, so it definitely doesn't go bad unless you get the sugar free, and that can go bad.
You're not diabetic, are you?
I'm hypoglycemic, so I have low blood sugar. I only eat stuff with NutraSweet and sucralose.
So you diabetical.
I
As in the words of Medea.
Yeah.
Oh, she diabetical.
Diabetical,
Diabetical.
diabetical. Okay, yes, I could be diabetic if I wasn't Catholic.
Yeah, there we go.
Now
there
I'm
we go.
diabolical, and I want to save my diabolicalness if I can even say it.
Well,
There we go.
and Dave, I got to tell you,
Yeah,
when
man.
it comes to race, when I lived down south, Tennessee, Virginia border area, late 80s, everyone was racist, as I said earlier.
Right.
But I got to tell you, I decided I wanted to try to be racist. So I went
Okay.
to Bristol International Raceway,
Okay.
and my neck hurt watching the races go around. And I said, I can't watch these races. I'm no racist. So, I have a question for you.
Go ahead, baby.
The fact that you're a Republican,
Yes.
could that just mean you're nothing but an Uncle Tom?
Hell to the no. Hell no.
You
Hell
really
to
do
no.
say
Wow.
politically.
Hold on. But let me give you guys a quick history lesson since we're talking about Uncle Tom, all right? You see, Uncle Tom was the good guy. That was the one that taught the slaves how to read. This is the one that taught the slaves how to take care of themselves, how to escape. It was Sambo. Sambo. That was the traitor. He was the one that was like, yes, sir, I'm going to go run up the master, sir, and make sure he don't beat us during the daytime, sir. That was Sambo. Uncle Tom was a strong guy, but through history, of course, they're going to flip it around.
As
They're
most
gonna
things do, you know.
Flip it around, and they're going to make it seem like the good guy was the bad guy.
No, Dave. The only one who's going to get a beat down is you. Because you were supposed to say, no, I'm Uncle Dave to my nieces.
I'm Uncle Dave to my nieces.
Don't you remember we talked about my asking you this question? You forgot, didn't you?
History lesson. Y'all deserve to know that Uncle Tom wasn't the bad guy. He was the good guy. It was Sambo. Do the history. Look up Sambo, and you're going to see that. He was like,
Wasn't that a WWE wrestler?
No.
And weighing in at 287 pounds
No.
from the Isle of Fiji is Sambo.
Oh, that was Jimmy Superfly Snooker.
Oh, my bad.
You dive on your ass. Boof. Oh yeah, damn right. And so but back to what we were talking about, because this is really
You're
important.
too talented to work for the county. I just want to get that in
No,
to be a state.
Gee, did you ever do a comedy circuit?
a comedy circuit?
Did you ever work any comedy circuit?
Yeah, sure.
Why don't
Boston
you-
Comedy Club.
Listen, we don't have a lot of time left. Why don't you tell people
Sweetwaters.
about your comedy background?
Oh, well, I performed in Sweetwaters, Uptown Comedy Club, Boston Comedy Club, several of them out there in Manhattan, but this is back in the 80s when I was coming up. Doing my own music. Oh, currently, R&D Food Adventures! Ray, May, and Dave coming to you real soon. We're doing food reviews from Manhattan all the way to the Twin Forks. And so let me just throw that out there real quick.
Oh yeah, and I'm ready for that.
Oh, you ready for that?
Oh, yeah.
Here we go, Mean Gene. Get those 20-inch pythons
Bring
up.
that to
We're gonna be
WLAY.
eating real good now.
Bring that to WLNY. I'll take care of you. We'll get you a sick show going for that.
Yes, baby. That's what I'm talking
Oh
about.
yeah, and don't worry about it. We got you.
That's what you heard that. So
I'm excited about this.
You want to be a part? You want to do a food review of R&D Food Adventures?
Why not? Why not?
So does this include us having food? Trying?
Yes.
Oh, you got me.
We will have the
You
food
got
here.
me.
We have a big table.
Yeah, and guess what? It's one of the features is going to be my barbecue. When I barbecue, baby, everybody eats.
Now you said you were Southern
Why
before, right?
am I picturing a Barbie doll on a
Little bit of
rotisserie? The
Rotisserie.
way you say barbecue, I'm picturing a Barbie doll on a rotisserie.
Which way you stick the forks in?
Exactly, and then it spins.
You auditioning for the part? Get up on the table.
Do you like my? Oh, it won't hold me.
Do you know what's hysterical? Watching the broadcast delay on the monitor, where we're seeing ourselves from a few moments ago, but hearing ourselves now.
Let's see.
It's kind of like
I don't
watching,
like to watch
you
the
know,
monitor.
it's kind of
Remember
like,
I got in trouble for doing
Jake.
that.
but it's
Wow.
kind of like, no, it's kind of like watching a foreign movie with subtitles. Or the old kung fu movies that are dubbed.
Oh, damn you! I told you yesterday that you came from Shaolin. And the next time, we're gonna come in, kick your ass. Right?
I got revenge! Toga Monkey style! You killed my master!
Kick your ass, Mace.
Sounds like you already got hit in the wrong place.
In the nuts! Straight in the cojones, my friend.
Anyway, I want to take a moment to thank our sponsor for today's show, Mace H. Greenfield, attorney at law, 631-815-5577. That's 631-815-5577. On the internet at MACENYLAW.com. Divorce law, family law, and can even send you in the right direction for other areas of law. Only someone who I would trust to represent me. We're running out of time. Do you want to give a shout out to anyone, Dave?
Oh gosh, I'll give a shout out to everybody.
Are you Dave?
who's still watching?
She
I'm
is
Dave,
now.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
You
we're
looked at me
switching
and
roles.
you said Dave.
I-
But please go ahead, Dave.
We're
Go ahead,
switching
Dave.
roles. We're
Go
switching
ahead.
roles.
I'm
Playing
finished.
switchies here.
I'm finished.
I just want to shout out everybody that's out there. This is Michael Jackson's spirit speaking through Dave Tillery. And I want to let everybody know that we're going to be back. I want to shout out Ray, May, and Dave. That's me. I'm Dave. What's your name again?
I'm Dr. G.
Dr. G! And I want everybody out there to know that I had a pleasure over here being on the Mace Greenfield show. This is awesome. This was an awesome experience, and I look forward to being back. We're going to tighten up on what we need to really speak about because we went off the issue a few times, but that's simply because we're having a great time here. And so,
And because we're ADHD.
These guys are ADHD.
Gene, why don't you tell everyone who our guest is next week?
Tim Whitcomb, he's an upstate sheriff who is going to be speaking about a police chief who unfortunately went a little bonkers, and that's a clinical term, and tried to murder somebody and left a woman with significant disabilities. So we're going to have a more serious show, but we'll get some of the fun in also alongside it.
I want to thank everyone for tuning in each week. We are on at 7 p.m. right here on WLINY. It's Long Island Talk, where we come together to get lit together. I'm your host, Mace in your face.
Mace in your face!
My co-host, Dr. Gene Cirillo,
Dr. Gene Cirillo.
better known as Dr. Gene. Our special guest today was David Tillery, a black Republican who is not an Uncle Tom, but is an Uncle Dave to his nieces and nephews.
One in
that.
a million.
Dig that. Dig that.
And a big shout out to our producer, David, whose sister just got married last night.
Oh yeah. I'm surprised I was even able to keep be
Well,
here
well,
with all the drinking I've been doing.
got the divorce lawyer here if it ever happens.
Oh yeah. Oh well, I got my father too. So
Your father will represent your sister. I'll represent her husband.
that way no conflict of interest. There we
And
go.
we can do it right here on YouTube.
That sounds like a
Oh
reality
yeah.
show
We'll,
to me, baby.
We'll get our own Judge Judy kind of thing going on here.
Oh yes.
I'll be
R&D
the
food
court
adventures.
therapist.
Oh, I'm
Good night, all.
hold you to
Good
that.
night.
All right, everyone. I just wanted to say we also have her talk with Tava Carey on Thursday. She couldn't make it this following Thursday. This past, she actually had a little automobile accident. Everyone, send her your thoughts and prayers. She's going to be back this Thursday, and my dad's show, Finding Common Ground, will be on Friday. All right, everyone. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and follow us on Facebook and subscribe on YouTube. Thank you, guys. Have a nice night.
Peace.
Bye.